Today we're talking about something that the Deluge can't do. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Be sure to check out my upcoming free live stream concert, Freebeat Live The Next Level. It's going to be a ton of fun. Today's patron shout-out goes to Richard Sexton. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. The Synthstrom Deluge can do a lot. It's arguably the most interactive sequencer you can get your hands on. I mean, this is an 8x16 piano roll. It's my absolute favorite way to demonstrate different drum patterns. It's got a very powerful sampler. It rivals the MPC in terms of sheer functionality. It's got multi-samples and time stretching. It's got straight-up audio track recording. It's not limited by anything other than the CPU and RAM when it comes to number of tracks and track length. It's an incredibly capable MIDI sequencer. It's completely battery-powered. We're running off internal battery right now. It's got an internal speaker. And it comes in right around $1,000 US. It's probably one of the most value-heavy devices you can get your hands on. However, more and more recently, I've been noticing one glaring feature that the Deluge is completely lacking. And what's more, it seems that Synthstrom Audible, creators of the Deluge, have no intent to add it in a later firmware. And that feature is the ability to export track stems individually. So each one of these rows here are separate tracks, separate instruments in the song I've been working on. I would love to be able to export those to the SD card or via USB into my DAW as individual track stems, so I could then finish working on my song, arrange things, add effects, mix, master, you get the idea. Now, this might be an odd complaint coming from me because I've said many times I'm not a DAW person, and completely honestly, it feels a little weird to be making this complaint because I still don't consider myself a DAW person. However, last year, when I picked up my OP1, used, by the way, don't pay that full ridiculous price. Please buy used if you're going to get one of these. I really fell in love with its ability to export its 4 tracks individually via USB and put those, right into my DAW. It's actually what inspired me to finish my OP1 album last year, titled FB1. You can find that at my Bandcamp, linked in the description below. The hybrid workflow really surprised me, and I quite enjoyed it. There's a lot of flexibility when you're working on the hardware, knowing that you're going to be able to clean things up just at least a little bit in the DAW and kind of tie things together. As powerful as these pieces of gear are, the OP1 included here, as both of these pieces of gear are, it's not necessarily easy to completely finish a song just on the hardware. You almost always need to use the computer. Now, can it be done completely on the hardware? Yes, of course. But it is a challenge. For instance, for the past 2 Wednesdays, I've done a live stream where I've been prepping music, specifically one new song to debut at the live concert coming up in early August, the one I've been kind of advertising at the start of these videos for the past week or so. And I kind of hit a roadblock with actually organizing in the song mode here where we were in the song because I use a lot of odd time signatures. There's a lot of variation between the different parts, and it's just becoming kind of a pain to work in, especially if I zoom out, like right now. These are all 16th notes, so, well, let's go to song mode here. Scrolling through, as you can see, we're on measure... we're on measure 88, and there's still music there. There's still notes coming in. Granted, there's only a few tracks on this one, but as we zoom out and go back, you can see it gets kind of complex. I'm just going to play it for you. So there's just like the first maybe quarter of the song before it goes back to that beginning section and we add some more parts in. This part here that you heard, which is this kind of counter melody thing coming in, that high part there, just to get that lined up in the song view was incredibly taxing, and all I could think about was how much easier that would have been at the computer, where I could just drag it in, see the whole thing, on the screen, on the computer screen, and drag it exactly where it needed to go, and it would just be good. It'd be ready. That's not even looking from like an effects or mixing or mastering perspective, which would undoubtedly be easier on a DAW. Now I know the Deluge is supposed to be like an all-in-one device, and that's how Synthstrom Audible markets it. You do have like a basic EQ and some effects and stuff like that. But when it comes to more complex arrangements, it can get fairly difficult. Especially when you have a whole lot of different time signatures going on there. I'm sure you could tell there were tons of changes in there. Even just that kind of stomp your feet 7/4 part was kind of a pain in the butt to dial in perfectly. This part right here. Laying it down initially was hard, but when I came back and wanted to add a second part to it, this right here, which you haven't heard yet, it became pretty difficult to line things up and get everything, exactly how I wanted it, just due to, the Deluge looking like that. I'd much rather use the Deluge to compose the different parts of the song and then add them all together in the DAW. I think that's really the advantage of a hybrid workflow, and I'm just really starting to miss the ability to export stems like you can on the OP1. Now, do I like the Deluge more than the OP1? Yes, I absolutely do, which is why I'm so frustrated that there's a $1,000 device that doesn't have individual stem export. You could literally just do it right here to the SD card. That's, all it would need. Just export those straight to the SD card, you'd be good to go. Like I said, frustrated is the word I choose to use to describe how I feel, especially looking at things like the Roland MC101, which is basically half the price of this. That has stem export. Things like Sonicware's upcoming Simple Track has stem export, I believe, even. And that's even less than half of this. So why can't we have it on the Deluge? I was looking around on Reddit and some of the forums, and it seems to be a highly requested feature, but it doesn't really appear like Synthstrom Audible has any intention of bringing stem export to the Deluge, which is disappointing. I'd really like to see that, and I think it would take the Deluge to the next level, for me personally anyway, and apparently for a lot of other people. And this is already my favorite piece of gear that I own, but I think that would help solidify it as a lot of other folks' favorite pieces of gear as well. So, Synthstrom Audible, please add stem export if it is at all possible. I don't even think it has to be via USB. Just give us the ability to do it with the SD card. Also, I know there's like a zillion other devices that do have stem export. I just brought up the OP1 because it's the first device I really used stem export on to import tracks into my DAW and finish them there. And I really hope the Deluge gets it in the future. Fingers crossed. And who knows, maybe you've been on the fence about a Deluge and this video pushed you one way or the other. I'm always trying to give real use case scenarios for all of the gear that I own to help people make better informed decisions in either direction, like I said. So yeah, hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully you did find this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.